What's up, Zach?
Hey, what's up?
What are you working on?
Well, kind of a cool little project. I wish I didn't have to do it, but we ordered some of these avodas from Israel. These are not the exact same ones that Bryson plays, same head shape. I think his have a little more of a rebound face on it, kind of like a driver. But these are their stock ones here. I ordered them probably 3 or 4 months ago and just got them in. And I swear we ordered extra stiff shafts, but what arrived was ladies flex. So they are very, very bendy. So we're gonna take these out and then put some Project X LZ 6.5s in. Not because I think it's the best shaft in the world, but because they're the only all black ones we have at the moment, and they'll look pretty good with these black heads. So a bummer that they came with the wrong shafts. Could have been user error on our behalf, but here at Rex we can make it right pretty quickly and put the proper shafts in them. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do, since these are used shafts, they have some ferrules that are already on them. They're cool ferrules, but we're going to take these off. So I'm going to heat this up a little bit while I rotate the ferrule. Then we're going to get our hook blade, and we're going to try not to skim the paint because these are black. If it was straight up steel, I wouldn't be too worried. Let's put a little more heat on that. If you have to force it, probably not right. We're going to cut this off. Take that off. The next step, we're going to get our drill and our bit, and then we're going to heat up. See how there's old glue in there? For a new club head to go on, we have to have this completely hollow so that air can go out the butt of it right here. Otherwise the head's going to pop off. So let's heat this up, rotate it around. This is actually just heating up the old epoxy in the shaft. Now if this was graphite, we'd do it a little differently. But since it's steel, we can be a little more aggressive with it. Get our drill. The key to this is to get it hot pretty high up in the shaft, because if you don't get heat all the way from here to here, you're probably going to have a piece of epoxy that's hardened shoot up into the shaft, and the only way to get that off is by taking the grip off, which I don't really want to do. Alright, we got that out. Now let's get what's going on, guys. Get this out and then clean it a little more. Alright, that's nice and clean on the inside. Next step, we want to get all this old epoxy off of here and prep the tip again. So you want to have something abrasive that's going to clean it up and then provide some scoring marks on it for the glue to bind to, and then bind to the inside of the hosel. Alright, as you can see there's a clean, freshly prepped tip, like new. My only concern with this one is that the previous ferrule was pretty high up, so we're going to need to find something that's a long enough ferrule to hide all this here. So our next step, as you can see, these avodas are still new in the plastic. We're going to go ahead and take the plastic off of this. And we're going to do the same thing here. We're going to heat up the ferrule just a little bit. And we can reuse these shafts, so we want to be pretty delicate and not scrape them. Pull that off, pretty clean. So we're going to apply some heat around the hosel. I don't have mine bolted in so I can move it, put it on there. And this is MAP gas, which is a little hotter than propane, and by a lot hotter. I recommend doing that lightly, but yeah, we're going to crank this off. It has to come straight off, otherwise you'll fray it. So we're going to keep twisting, don't touch down near the hosel, but touching up here is going to be all right. Pull it off, and we're going to set it right over here for a later project. Now that we have the head taken off and cooled down, we're going to get our hosel brush and clean it out. Notice that I'm wearing my eye protection because when you got machinery moving around, things can go flying. Alright, cleaned out on the inside, but we're not done. You can see up there on the top of the hosel there's some crud, some old dried glue. So what we're going to do is, you got to be careful with this because it has a black finish. We're going to go on the top with some steel wool and just kind of grind off any of that old crud there so that the ferrule we put on goes on evenly. Got our clean head and our clean shaft. We're gonna make sure this is long enough. So we want this thing to be 35.5 inches. Let's see where we came in at. Hey, look at that, 35.5 inches. Now we need to find a long ferrule, and I think the only long ferrules we have are gonna be colorful ones. So let's go pick out a colorful one. All right, we picked out our ferrule for 2 reasons. One, it's long. Actually 3 reasons. 1, because it's long and it's gonna hide this old glue on there. 2, because the grips that are already on here are black and blue. And 3, because this head's black, so it'll look nice. Now we're gonna mix our glue up here. So this is a 2-part epoxy. One is the glue and one is the hardener. And we mix them in equal amounts, stir them up on our cardboard here with a popsicle stick. Has to be an orange popsicle stick, because we like to stay on brand here. Orange popsicle sticks, orange gloves, orange tape, orange pliers, lots of orange. All right, now that that's stirred up, we are going to stick the ferrule on. We may have to do a little trick to get these on because it might be a little tight. We're going to put a little glue in the tip here, spin it around. Let's see how far we can push it on with just the head. Yeah, pretty close. Looks like these aren't even long enough either, but that's as good as we're gonna do. So, all right, now that we have our ferrule on, we are going to put our head on there. So we're gonna put a little bit of glue in here. I'm gonna make sure it's all on the walls. Then we're gonna put it on the tip here and spin it around. You want that glue to be kind of equally distributed. We're gonna do a step further here though. This tip on the shaft's a little too skinny for the hosel, so we're actually gonna put a brass shim onto the tip. And I'm gonna put a little more glue in the head. The less glue, the better, but in this instance, we're gonna put a little more just because we have this brass shim. So let's go ahead and see if this is the right fit. That looks good. Now if you can see here, I'm going to spin that around again. So this just evens it out. If you don't have that shim in there, the shaft's going to be all wonky and it's not going to settle perfectly even. But if you can see here, it is pretty even. Now if you come in real close, you can see there's a tiny gap between the metal and the plastic ferrule here. Don't want that, so we're going to actually push it back. And if you come with me over here, we're going to put this thing back onto the shaft extractor. We're going to use this again. An old buddy of mine, Scott, taught me this trick. Put it on here and just lightly press that ferrule forward. Now, there's no more seam or gap in there. It's perfectly flush on there. So now we're gonna get the shaft graphics lined up correctly and let it cure. All right, and our final step is we're gonna put it in our curing machine. This can cure 24-hour epoxy in 45 minutes to an hour. And when we're done, Andrew, you can play with it and it's all yours.
Thanks, Zach. Pretty stoked to test these out. Hit a few in here, and maybe if I play my cards right, if I sweet talk you enough, you'll let me take these home for a few days and take them out on the golf course. Man, that felt really good. But this is the man who hunted these irons down. Another owner, founder here at Rex. Have you hit these yet?
I have. Yeah, I feel good.
Did you hit them with the ladies' shafts?
Hit with both. Yeah.
Which feel better?
These feel a little better for sure.
I mean, it's interesting being in a dark bay, looking down at black.
Yeah, black on black.
They look. I mean, they look premium.